You're watching WEAR-3, Pensacola, Mobile, and Fort Walton Beach. Channel 3 News with Dave Daughtry, Sue Strawn, Bob O'Brien, and Dan Shugart. And now, Channel 3 News.
Good evening, everyone.
If topping the news at this hour, a Santa Rosa County jury has just convicted a Milton man on all counts, ranging from murder to kidnapping and sexual battery.
The jury deliberated about 6 hours in the Raymond White case and returned a verdict just minutes ago. Channel 3's Mark Curtis has more on what went into the jury's decision.
Jurors faced deciding between two very different arguments from the attorneys. Ray White's defense counsel called it a case of mistaken identity, and he pointed out two witnesses, including the 9-year-old rape and stabbing victim, who could not identify the accused in court.
Saya's descriptions and memory is not correct. No matter how certain she may be, her accuracy is wrong.
Terrell said the child incorrectly recalled several details of the crime, in which her 6-year-old sister was stabbed to death in the Pine Thicket area north of Allentown. But the state pointed to the bloody handprint of the victim found on the suspect's car several hours after the crime. And prosecutor Kim Skavaski told jurors not to be swayed by the child's failure to point out her attacker in court. After all, he'd changed his appearance drastically from the day of the arrest.
He cannot hide from the truth. He cannot hide from the evidence. He cannot hide.
In the end, it came down to the prosecutor calling for a clear-cut verdict, while the defense tried to raise a reasonable doubt needed for acquittal.
Don't be ramrodded by the emotion of wanting to convict somebody for this terrible deed. Don't convict the wrong person.
I submit your response shouldn't take any longer than it took him to walk Sarah out in the woods and rip open her throat.
In Milton, Mark Curtis, Channel 3 News.
White could face the electric chair. The sentencing phase of the trial begins tomorrow. 3 children missing from Destin are now safe. Ellery, Christina, and Bonnie Dobbins vanished June 10th with their mother, Sherry. It is believed they left with this man, 33-year-old Michael Webster. Their mother and Webster suspected of aggravated battery, robbery, kidnapping, and grand theft in connection with a brutal Destin stabbing. Webster is still at large. Authorities fear he may be armed and dangerous. The children and their mother were found late this afternoon in Saraland, Alabama. Sue?
2 men suspected of robbing an Okaloosa County grocery store with a hand grenade are in custody tonight. Authorities nabbed 24-year-old John McDonald and his 19-year-old brother Edward this weekend after setting up surveillance outside the Winn-Dixie store in Destin. 1 week earlier, the pair allegedly walked into Kelly's IGA on Eglin Parkway, handed the clerk a note demanding money, saying they had a hand grenade. It's believed the men planned a similar heist at the Destin store before they were captured. And law enforcement officials are always looking for new ways to fight crime. Heather Tesh takes a look at some state-of-the-art techniques.
The tools of crime solving. Some have been around for years. Others are brand new. But they're all here to grab the attention of 700 investigators from all over the world. They're here in Pensacola this week for a conference of the International Association for Identification. This device moves suspect identification from the lineup room to the computer screen.
If a witness said they saw someone commit a crime and the person had black hair and it was a male, we can go in and do a search on that, come up with a list of respondents, and then display that for the witness.
This mobile fingerprint scanner is being tested in police cars. From a police car, an officer can take a print from this scanner and send it to a central agency. They'll see this image and within minutes will let police know if the suspect is wanted.
FBI Director William Sessions says technologies like the fingerprint scanner can do more than catch criminals.
The impact of this technology, I believe, is particularly important because it will provide the means to instantly prevent innocent persons from being arrested.
Sessions says new technologies will play a vital role in strengthening the link between law enforcement officials across the country. From Pensacola, Heather Tesh, Channel 3 News.
Gun safety is likely to play a big role in the special legislative session that kicked off today in Tallahassee. After opening ceremonies this afternoon, House members broke into committees to consider the governor's $2.4 billion turnpike expansion program. Representatives will consider gun safety legislation tomorrow. That proposal would call for penalties against people who leave firearms unattended. There are several other measures under consideration, but none is expected to have stiff opposition.
And ahead on Channel 3 News, it's back to business as usual at the Pensacola Regional Library.
And Eastern Airlines officials at the Pensacola Regional Airport hope it'll be back to business for them as well. Eastern Airlines today announced plans to get the strike-bound carrier back into the friendly skies.
Plans to resume service in Pensacola and major hub cities has Eastern officials flying high. But for those still striking against the carrier, the mood and the message are the same. Julia Yarbo reports.
August 1st, that's when passengers can expect to see Eastern Airlines in the sky. Service at Pensacola Regional Airport will include 4 daily nonstop flights to Atlanta, and many of those flights are already available for purchase. Eastern officials here say the return of the airline is a welcome relief.
The last couple of months has been a tremendous strain on the airport here. Delta Airlines in particular has been swamped with passengers because they had the only carrier servicing Atlanta. And with Eastern back in here, that will relieve some of that.
While Eastern officials say the August 1st start date is a firm one, that the airline will definitely be in service, striking Eastern employees believe otherwise. Members of the strike line say we shouldn't count on Eastern returning August 1st. They believe the announcement is simply an attempt to regain customers and lure some striking pilots across the picket lines, at least enough to man the promised additional flights.
Any resumption of service into Pensacola right now, I think, is speculative. The company, the management of this company has made many announcements of expansion and service that they have not been able to meet.
But Eastern seems positive they'll return. Advertisements announcing lower fares will appear in newspapers later this week. Still, those striking against Eastern say they're not losing faith and will stand by their motto.
One day longer than Frank Lorenzo. That has been our motto, and it continues to be.
In Pensacola, Julia Yarbo, Channel 3 News.
Work aimed at ending some of the traffic jams at the south end of the Pensacola Bay Bridge won't be completed until Wednesday. Workers will straighten the S-curve going into Gulf Breeze, which will hopefully make traffic flow more smoothly. Recent bad weather has delayed work on straightening the curve, but the contractor will try and finish the job Wednesday morning. In the meantime, drivers are asked to be cautious and to follow directions from police.
The West Florida Regional Library in Pensacola is back in business. The library had to move to a temporary location at Balin and Garden Streets in downtown Pensacola while asbestos was removed from the main building. Workers Saturday replaced thousands of books that had been removed because of the cleanup. The library reopened to the public today. Meanwhile, groundbreaking ceremonies for a northeast branch of the regional library system will be held tomorrow at 9th Avenue and College Boulevard. The last of the Pensacola City Council members sworn in today. He's District 2 incumbent Hank Anson, who won re-election in May. Anson missed last Monday's official swearing-in ceremony to attend his Naval Academy reunion. This morning, he took the oath and reclaimed his seat on council during a small gathering at City Hall chambers.
And coming up, just when we thought we'd seen the last of the rain for a while.
Yikes, we're getting webbed feet already. There may be more of that wet stuff on the horizon, and Bob O'Brien will tell us all about it when we come right back.
Well, we wanted Bob to have a nice view and a window. Right. A lot of people say Bob needs a window to look out of to tell what the weather is. You have a window behind you now.
Well, that's good. As long as the rain doesn't come into the window, you don't have to make sure we close it all the time.
Keep your skies forever painted blue.
Yeah, I guess so. That'd be good, wouldn't it? Lots of sunshine in everybody's life and all that kind of stuff. Also, we have some flowers behind you and Dave, and you know, I'm not going to touch them because they'll die if I touch them.
There's a nice panoramic view of the new set. We've been telling our viewers that it was on the way, and here it is. We're real proud of it, too.
That's right. Well, no, if we could just keep the weather like it was, over the weekend.
But something tells me you're not going to do that.
Well, no, we can't do that entirely now. You know, I mean, it's going to be a little rain must fall. Make sure the window's closed. Little rain must fall in everybody's life, I guess, once in a while. It makes everything else a lot more sunnier. Clouds are out there right now. It's high clouds, but they're still clouds. Winds are coming out of the southwest around 9 miles an hour. Humidity is 61%. Pressure is falling. Haven't really had a lot of rain. Most of the real in the state of the north of us, 1/4 of an inch, that in Mobile, not quite so much in Pensacola, about 1/1800ths of an inch around Fort Walton Beach. These are some of the current temperatures we got outside now. Crestview is 84, Century, same thing. Milton is 83, Pensacola is 82, Fort Walton Beach is 79, and in Mobile it is 80 degrees. So it's still a little bit warm outside, and looks like it's going to stay that way for a while. With the clouds, we're not going to see a big change in the temperatures. Now, normally it's 89 and 73, 84, 77 in Pensacola, 83, 74 for Walton Beach, and in Mobile, 83 and 70. So we were a little bit below that on the high side, pretty close to it on the low side. Shower activity you can see in Florida, and most really of the viewing area we've got, there's not a lot of shower activity. Most of it is up in southeast Mississippi, and it's moving away from us, moving to the northeast at, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 miles an hour. So all this rain is continuing to push on up. So we really don't have to worry about that, even though we still have a lot of shower activity in, or at least a chance of it, in the forecast, both tonight and tomorrow, and then tomorrow night and going into Wednesday and Tuesday. And so it's going to be around for a while, so if you're going to be outside, don't forget your umbrella. And you can see to the west of us, things still look pretty good, well, except for New Orleans. They've got a lot of cloud cover. But what we're having is a series of upper-level lows go through, and that's causing all the cloud cover throughout the area and the chance of rain. They kind of went through up in this area. A lot of rain around Montgomery. They've had about 3 inches. Birmingham had about a little over an inch, and Huntsville had almost 2 inches of rain. They have flash flood watches out for the central and southeastern portions of Alabama. Tallahassee picked up some rain today, about 1 inch to 1.5 inches. They also had 67-mile-an-hour winds. So most of the nasty weather continues to be away from us and moving to the east. And these are some current temperatures we have outside now. A little bit cooler up north, 76 in Louisville, 80 in Nashville, 76 in Atlanta, 73 up around Montgomery, but they're getting a lot of rain right now. It gets warmer as we go down, 86 in Tampa and 83 in Miami. Now what's going to happen, even those upper-level lows are going to be leaving us, we're going to see a low develop right up here in Kentucky. So we still have that flow coming around this, bringing the winds up out of the south and the southwest and southeast. So there still is a chance of the rain coming in. And as I said, you won't want to forget your umbrella for a couple of days anyway, at least know where it is. On a marine forecast, well, our water temperature is holding at 82 degrees. Seas 3 to 5 feet, winds out of the southwest 10 to 15 knots, and protected waters will have a light chop. Here's the forecast. Mostly cloudy tonight. The rain, 60% chance. The low should be around 70 degrees. That may be the best thing about the forecast. Tomorrow, look for it, not much change. Mostly cloudy and warm, 60% chance of rain. The high should be in the upper 80s. If we get some rain, it'll be right around the mid-80s, but it could go, if we see some sunshine, a little bit higher than that. Tuesday night, mostly cloudy and warm. Rain chance is 40%, again around 70 degrees for the low. Inland areas a little bit cooler than that. And on the 4-day extended, Wednesday we're going to see kind of a transition period. And then once all this moves out, then it's clear going to the west of us, and so the temperatures will gradually get up by Saturday and this weekend. It's like up around 90 degrees once again. But until then, I wouldn't venture too far away from your umbrella.
The official beginning of summer is right around the corner.
It certainly is. What is today? The 19th? 2 days away, Wednesday.
It's kind of hard to tell. It's been summer.
It's been summer for a while. Yeah.
Has it ever?
That it has been. Thanks a lot, Bob.
Thank you, Robert.
Experts at the University of Florida say new research may make it possible to detect lightning from afar. A researcher at the Gainesville School says this would make it possible for planes to avoid the continuing current type of lightning strike that burns holes in aircraft. Florida has more thunderstorms than any other state because of its warm, moist climate.
I think more lightning, too, than any other state. In sports, a bitter off-season for Oklahoma football, and a bigger shoe has fallen.
Dan Shugart has details when Channel 3 News continues.
And this, of course, is a day Barry Switzer is likely to remember for a long time, because he can say that he quit on the same day we started from our news.
In fact, I understand that's part of the press conference we missed. However, we may slip
right?
that in. Nice place you have here, by the way.
Well, thanks. Stay around with us.
Very comfortable. Thank you very much. Football program at the University of Oklahoma is still feeling the fallout of the NCAA probation and all the other off-field problems they've had the last several months. And today, the biggest blow. They lost their coach. Barry Switzer has resigned under some pressure, but it was his decision, and it is the result of all the troubles this program's been through. The man who led the Sooners to 3 national titles and 157 wins in 16 seasons says he can no longer be an effective leader. His record is the 4th best of all time, and that is one thing he takes pride in.
But my greatest pride is in the young men who have come through this program, who have worked so hard to accomplish those achievements, which have made me proud and made you proud.
They will probably name a successor for Switzer tomorrow. It was rumored to be Gary Gibbs, who is currently the defensive coordinator at Oklahoma. That might be the toughest job in college football next season. head coach at the University of Oklahoma, probably even tougher than Notre Dame. Well, Pete Rose would like to stay out of court and just get on with baseball. He would like to, but he's going to court, and he is taking the commissioner's office with him. Rose is scheduled to meet with Commissioner Bart Giamatti next week, and then he would find out what penalties he would suffer for whatever transgressions he may have committed. But now he wants some more time. His lawyer has filed for a restraining order to postpone that meeting even further. It's probably a good thing that Curtis Strange's U.S. Open win was his second straight, because had it not been so significant a win, Tom Kite might be getting even more attention for his final round 78, which was as instrumental in his losing the U.S. Open as Strange winning it. And that really would be unfair because, as Kite pointed out, he has been such a consistent golfer that the 78 yesterday was probably a fluke. But Curtis Strange wins the back-to-back U.S. Open championships, but there were some other memorable moments in this U.S. Open. Apparently, crowd control at the U.S. Open is not what it used to be, so some hastily thrown together last-minute measures by the USGA, and a memorable Open it was. Well, this is the most unbelievable ongoing fishing story of this early summer season, except this one's true. The boat is the Quasar, Mark and Mike Kennedy's 46-foot Bertram, and that boat leads the Orange Beach Marina Monster Shark Tournament. They caught a 565-pound tiger shark on Saturday. Actually, Mike Crawford's the one who caught it on the Quasar. Remember, 3 weeks ago, Mark broke the state blue marlin record with a 779-pounder caught on the Quasar, and that broke Mike Kennedy's record of a year before, caught on the Quasar. By the way, when the Quasar came in with that shark on Saturday, they also had an 88-pound wahoo on board, and that was just 4 pounds off the Alabama state record. And by their standards, I'm surprised they didn't throw it back. Second place, by the way, in this tournament belongs to Pete Boutin. He had a 381-pound bull shark. And Don Negus has a 249-pound dusky. And that tournament runs through next Sunday. You can still sign up as late as Saturday. You can fish any day you want through Saturday, and that's at the Orange Beach Marina. And in case you missed it, great race at the Pensacola Derby on Saturday. Fast Impressions, number 6, leading all the way until they come into the final turn. And that is when TK's Clickin' Wheel, a number 2 dog, goes wide and still has enough to win the sprint to the finish in the 44th running of the Pensacola Derby. And so that's how things went out at Pensacola Greyhound Track on Saturday.
And if you're going to go fish in the Monster Shark Tournament, a tip, follow the Quasar. Right?
Well, follow the Quasar, that's right.
Stick close. Thank you, Dan. Just ahead, the Gulfarium's newest baby has a name.
And we'll tell you what it is when we come back.
And coming up tonight on Channel 3 News Night Desk, President Bush honors schools for their efforts at kicking drugs out of the classroom, plus a report card of sorts is out on the nation's middle schools. Also tonight, more on the special legislative session in Tallahassee and a special homecoming. So join us at 10 o'clock for Night Desk.
The baby porpoise at the Gulfarium in Fort Walton Beach finally has a name. The porpoise was born May 10th at the Gulfarium. Since then, it's been swimming around nameless. But Gulfarium officials today announced the winner of the Name the Baby contest they held for the porpoise. The winning name is Cody. The winner of the contest is Jeanette Cannon of Destin. She will be presented with her prize Wednesday at the Gulfarium. And by the way, Cody and Mother are doing just fine.
Isn't that great? Look at that.
Wonderful.
Cute? Yeah. Still a chance of some rain outside. We have a 60% chance tonight. Otherwise, it's going to be mostly cloudy and warm. The low should be dropping down to around 70 degrees, so don't get wet.
That's it for now. Thanks so much for being with us. Dan, Bob, and I will be back later with Night Desk. And in the meantime, for all of us at TV3, I'm Dave Daughtry.
I'm Sue Strong.
Good night.